Hello, everyone, and welcome to Spotlight on What's Next 2026, Week 15, from systemic advantage to strategic leverage, turning capacity into control. The leadership progression we've been building over the last couple of weeks has been moving through a deliberate and disciplined education curriculum. Week 10 established that trust is infrastructure. Week 11 pushed us to convert trust into traction and forward motion. Week 12 challenged us to ensure transformation is inclusive and equitable. Week 13 made it clear that transformation must be institutionalized to last. Week 14 elevated the conversation to systemic advantage, where transformation becomes power. Now, week 15 addresses the next leadership question. Once systems are stable and transformation holds, how do we convert that stability into leverage? Because in 2026, stability alone is not the goal. The goal is control, acceleration, and strategic optionality. The global leadership reality today is that capacity is expanding, but not being reclaimed across sectors: government, defense, energy, technology, healthcare, and financial systems. Something very important is happening. Organizations are investing heavily in AI and automation, building infrastructure, redesigning operating models, and strengthening governance and control system. And as a result, capacity is increasing. But here is the hidden challenge. Leaders are not reclaiming that capacity strategically. Instead, organizations are filling capacity with more work, expanding complexity, and accelerating without prioritization. The result: systems are becoming more efficient, but not as effective. Organizations can move faster, but not further. So the patterns that leaders must recognize is that we are entering into a new phase of maturity, where transformation is not only creating capabilities, but systems are too. And neither automatically creates leverage on their own, because leverage requires something different: intentional redirection of capacity towards what matters most. Without that, gains are absorbed, capacity is diluted, and advantage is temporary. The next leadership shift is that high performing organizations in 2026 are making a critical transition from building systems that work to using those systems to create disproportionate impact. They are asking a different question: not what more can we do now, but rather what should we do less of so we can do what matters most at scale. What strategic leverage actually looks like now, because it is not about doing more. It is the ability to reclaim capacity created by automation and efficiency, redirecting efforts towards high value outcomes, multiplying impact without increasing complexity, and aligning systems to strategic priorities, not operational noise, because leverage is where capacity becomes more control. The three leverage moves for week 15 is: number one, reclaim hidden capacity. AI and automation are already creating capacity inside your organization, but most of it is invisible, untracked, and immediately reabsorbed into operations. Leadership moves that we need to make are identify where time, effort, and decision load have been reduced, and not choose to refill that automatically, because capacity only creates a leverage when it is protected. We also need to redirect more towards strategic outcomes, because once capacity is reclaimed, it must be intentionally redeployed, not into more activity, more meetings, or more complexity, but rather into innovation, strategic development, strategic initiatives, and long-term capability building. Because leverage is created when capacity is aligned to outcomes, not tasks. Designed for selective acceleration, because not everything should move faster. High-performing organizations are learning to accelerate what creates advantage, stabilize what ensures control, and eliminate what adds noise. The discipline is not speed, but rather selectivity. Why this matters now? Because in 2026, the leadership environment is defined by AI compressing decision cycles, workforce expectations shifting towards higher value work, infrastructure constraints shaping what can scale, and increasing pressure to deliver both speed and accountability. Organizations that achieve leverage will multiply impact without increasing cost, strengthen workforce engagement, focus leadership attention where it matters most, convert capability into sustained advantage. And organizations that do not, well, they will still stay busy, but not necessarily strategic. They will likely increase operational fatigue. They will likely lose clarity of direction and thus miss the full value of the transformation that they're undertaking. And that should be optimized. So, our week 15 reflection is to take a moment this week to consider where has efficiency created capacity that we are automatically filling? Where are we doing more instead of doing what matters most? Where is automation reducing effort but not improving our outcomes? And where could reclaimed capacity create greater strategic advantage? Because these are not execution issues, they are leverage signals. So our week 15 action is to identify one area where efficiency or automation has increased capacity. Then ask, what should we stop doing here? What should we scale instead? How do we protect this capacity from being reabsorbed? So take one action to direct capacity towards strategic impact, because capacity becomes leverage only when it is intentionally used. So in week 16, we're going to move into from strategic leverage to enduring advantage, how organizations can sustain leverage across time, leadership transitions, and market shifts, and how to ensure that advantage compounds over time, not erodes. Our closing thought for today is that trust enables scale, traction creates movement, transformation expands impact, and institutionalization sustains progress, but systemic advantage, well, that creates stability and strategic leverage. And that is exactly what determines where your power is applied. And in 2026, the organizations that are leading are not those with the most capabilities. They are the ones who use it with intention. Again, this is Dr. Rhonda Farrell, the CEO of Global Innovation Strategies, winding down week 15 of Spotlight on What's Next 2026, from systemic advantage to strategic leverage, turning capacity into control.